This time on Low Boost, I'm gonna go over the new BMW M240i and explain why you need to be absolutely in love with this thing. All right, by now, you've probably heard about or had somebody tell you or someone's opinion on the new BMW M240i, the G42. And I wanted to let everybody kind of let it digest for a little bit, and I want to go over with why this is actually a good thing for BMW. Here we go. Now, I know you guys are thinking like, oh man, what are you talking about? How could this be a good thing? There's no more manual transmission that we know of. It's a lot heavier of a car. It doesn't look as good. The styling is off. They ruined the car. It's all ruined. Let me tell you something. There are some things that I'm going to tell you that I'm not a fan of, and then I'm going to tell you why I love it. Okay? Here it is. Now, I can speak from personal experience as a 2 Series owner. I had an F22 M235, a 2014. It was rear-wheel drive, stick shift, you know, N55, beautiful car. I love it. It to this day is the best driving BMW that I have ever owned. However, there were some limitations that it had. I did not like the fact that I couldn't fit big tires on the front and the back of it. It wasn't as fast as its automatic counterparts, and because it was an N55, it just didn't have the power that a B58 had. Although, I did love this styling. I absolutely love the styling. It was, I think, one of the best looking BMWs of that generation. I didn't like that it had an open differential, although you could get them. I feel like every car that has any kind of M badge on it needs to have a limited slip differential from the factory. No questions asked, and I really was upset that my car didn't have that. This episode is brought to you by Extreme Powerhouse. Whether you have a BMW, an Audi, Ford Mustang, or a bunch of other cars, make sure you check them out. They have a great selection of performance parts for a bunch of different types of vehicles. And if you go on there and use the coupon code LOWBOOST, all one word, you get access to some extra special discounts. Right off the bat, the new car in X-Drive form is at least 300 pounds heavier than my M235 was at 3,475 pounds. The new one is 3,700, 3,800 pounds, what they're saying the X-Drive model is. There will be a rear-wheel drive version that will be coming out, but it will be coming out later, and they have not said if it's going to have a stick shift or not. I think the answer is no. We don't know the geometry of what kind of wheels and tires you're going to be able to put on this, but I'm assuming it'll be a little bit better than what it was, because I feel like the car is just a little bit bigger overall. First glance, I'm not a big fan of the styling of the front bumpers and the rear bumpers. The taillights just kind of don't do it for me like the other ones did, and the front bumper and the front headlights just kind of don't do it for me like the M235, the F22 generation did. However, a lot like the Supra, I didn't like the look of the Supra when it first came out a few years ago, but when I saw it in person, it kind of grew on me. So I have to see the car in person to really see if the car is going to grow on me. Much like the G80 and G82 M3 and M4. I still am not a huge fan of the front bumper, but I don't hate it as much as I thought that I would after seeing it live and in person for real. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The first time that I saw the new generation M235 sedan front wheel drive that's basically based off of a Mini Countryman platform, you ruined it! Alright, welcome back. Yeah, they ruined it. They ruined it. I was really pissed off by that. The fact that this is a totally different makeup than the abomination of an M235 sedan that they made, that it is all-wheel drive, 6-cylinder, B58, somebody at BMW must have got bitch slapped because they knew they had to get this right, because they can't make the new M2 off of what the M235 sedan is. It would just ruin everything. So they knew that they had to do that. So I'm very happy about that. This is not only just the B58, this is the B58 technical update, the TU. Now, instead of there being two exhaust runners that basically feed the turbo with only two ports, the original B58. The B58 technical update has individual exhaust runners running into the entire thing. So the cylinder head and the exhaust manifold can actually flow significantly more air than the original B58. This is also why the new Supra has a lot more horsepower. This is why the new M340i's are making sick power with just bolt-ons right now. It's because they have an improved cylinder head with the turbo and exhaust manifold that's really being able to outfool the original B58. And that's what this engine is getting. Now, the M340i is rated at 382 horsepower. I don't think BMW could say you're gonna buy a 2 Series and have as much power as the M340i, which is why it's rated at 369 horsepower. But my guess is, they both the M340i and the M240i probably make 375 horse to the wheels, period. Both cars. I don't think there's a difference in power. I just think they had to rate it lower because it's a lower level car. And speaking of horsepower, let's look at the performance aspect of it. My M235 with E30 mix, full bolt-ons, you know, wind it up as much boost as I could throw in it, made 387 wheel, and was a mid to high 12-second car that trapped probably 113 to 115 on a good day with maybe a race gas map. And that was all she wrote on the stock turbo. What we're seeing from the brand new M340i, which weighs 100 to 200 pounds more than the M240i will weigh, is that it's doing like a 12.5 second quarter mile at 115 miles an hour, bone stock. And guys with full bolt-ons are well into the mid 120 mile per hour trap speeds with just the bolt-ons, because this new B58 TU is fantastic. So I think the upside to this car is greater than the M340i, because it's still a little lighter, it's more compact by a couple hundred pounds. Even though it's not as light as it used to be, it's still gonna pack a serious punch and be able to really be competitive with some of these other cars that we're seeing out there now that are non-M cars. Obviously the M car is gonna have a lot more power. The next thing that I love about this car is that it doesn't have the G80 grille. Now, I still like the F-Series M240i, M235i grille better, but this one still could grow on me, and they definitely didn't do the chipmunk grille like they did on all the 4 Series. Now, we don't know what the new M2 is going to look like, but I still don't think they're going to do the rabbit tooth grille on the new M2. I think they just want to keep the design different, or they probably listen to everybody yell and scream. But personally, I don't dislike the new G80 grille, but I like the old one better. So I do like this new body style. The body lines on the side of the car are lost, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I do love the rocker panels that they added to the side. It almost looks like an aftermarket body kit right from the factory. They kind of stick out. It's a really different design. They kept the roof line almost the same, which I really always love that about the 2 Series. We'll see what the aftermarket looks like, adding lips and spoilers and stuff onto it to really change the look of the car. That always has a really big upside to it, and I think we're going to see that with this car. So all in all of this stuff that I was worried about them doing, like ruining the new M2 or ruining the M240i Coupe because of what they did with the M235i sedan piece of... They're not doing that with this car. You guys should be happy. It's absolutely going to rip when this thing comes out, and I really think it's going to save that smaller style coupe that BMW really had a void for before they created the M235. Because to me, the 3 Series got a little too big and the 1 Series was a little too small. I always loved the 2 Series because it made me feel like I was driving my E46 M3 again. It was almost the same dimensions as the E46. I'm not quite sure what the dimensions are going to stack up between the two on the M240i and how much bigger it's really going to be inside and out. We'll see as it gets it. I would like to get my hands on one to test drive one to really kind of see what it's all about. But let me know what you guys think. If you think I hit the nail on the head with this, or if you think that I'm still crazy and this car really does suck. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.